Welcome back, everyone, to Pontus Fathom Hobbies. This is Season 9, Episode 1 of our Joan of Arc playthrough of the Apocalypse expansion set. We're going to be playing the Sabbath gameplay today and looking forward to it. Everyone, happy New Year's Eve. This is the end of the year 2022, start of the new year 2023. We're going to set up the board here, walk through some of the details of the Sabbath gameplay. We'll do a little flyover of some of the minis here. Get you in the mood for the New Year's gameplay, and we'll start off the next season of the Apocalypse gameplay. Now, this gameplay is actually a campaign game, so we'll play the Sabbath, and this is going to lead into other ones like the Antichrist and the Armageddon. So, looking forward to jumping into this and kicking off our New Year's sort of celebration for the channel. So, thanks for watching. Okay, so we got most of the board set up. We've got the 4 armies in place. So let's kind of take a little deep dive into we've got the Apocalypse rules here. Let's take a deep dive into the Sabbath scenario. It says June 7th, 1415, near Toulouse. While the moon is covering the sun, a sorority of witches tries to realize their greatest plans, giving birth to the demon itself. The clergy, having heard of their scheme, gathers a group of followers to thwart this dark project by burning the unholy witches at the stake. Isn't this seemingly random skirmish the perfect allegory for an eternal battle that goes way beyond mere mortals? Okay, so what we've got here is the 4 factions. You can see the unholy player has the witch, the Sabbath witch, skeletons, and mounted skeletons. So you can see there's skeletons, mounted skeletons, skeletons, mounted skeletons. And then there is I believe inside of this house, we have the Sabbath witch, which I will show you. Here's the Sabbath witch on her broomstick. And then you also have just the plain, the standard witch figure. The witch here. Then next up we've got the John of Lancaster, unholy player. Here's John of Lancaster, and he's got these devourers, voracious demons, flying demons, and gargoyles. So you've got these gargoyle minis. I've got a paint-through video for the Apocalypse Part 1 that you guys can go check out down below there too. Then you've got the Inquisitor. The Inquisitor figure is already here on the board, and it comes with the Executioner. We've got Executioner on the board. We've got a number of troops here. You've got these penitents, flagellants, devotees. You've got a guide with a wagon here. And we also have the potential to spawn the Holy Relic. Here's the Holy Relic. So one of the mechanisms of this Sabbath game is that of collecting wood. So we'll kind of go into that. We'll show you the 4th faction here is the Holy Player, which is the Archangel Raphael. Right here. And he's got a number of other angels. We had them on the side of the board here. They actually start out in the church, but I've got the church on the board for now. And we'll kind of get into that as we kick into round 1. So let's look at some of the victory conditions for this and some of the special mechanisms. It's a great picture of the witch, by the way. The unholy side victory, which with armies 1 and 3, unholy side immediately wins if the Antichrist is given birth. We'll read that special rule. Or if a voracious demon, flying demon, or the witch is inside the church at the end of the 6th round. So it's only a 6-round game. Holy side wins. Holy sides are armies 2 and 4. Holy side immediately wins a game if one of the 2 witches is burnt at the stake. So a couple other mechanisms here. We're playing with a sun and the moon token. So the sun and moon side, you flip it on the track here. That token to just gaining some features for the holy and the unholy side. There's also some reinforcements that can be played with activation orders. We've got, as I mentioned, we've got these tokens that are wood tokens. I'll show you some of these wood tokens here. So we can actually cut down areas of forest, and when we clear the area, we can then use that wood to burn the witch at the stake, and we can also use it to pick a cleared forest token. We get 1 of 4 tokens, and that will allow us to either find the old cemetery discovered, freeing the unicorn, hell on earth, which is placing a lava tile over an area, or the ruins of an old church, and we can put the church ruins back on the board. So we've got those off the side. The other thing is we can, the witch also has the ability to change a tile to a pentagon tile. So we can like overlay this pentagon tile over a witch-controlled area, and that will turn it into the site of a. Both witches have to be present in the same area. It must be a plains or a field area. The area containing the witch must be activated, and 3 tokens must be spent. 3 legend tokens must be spent. If this conditions are met, place a pentacle tile over the witch's current area. Place all units previously in the area into the pentacle. And that becomes a rally point. And then finally, for birthing the Antichrist. The Antichrist may be given birth if the following conditions are met. A demon unit must be present in the area containing a witch. These units must be either in a church, a pentacle, or cemetery during the night. So they can actually spawn the Antichrist figure, which is frightening. So this is part of the whole Apocalypse series. This is going to be pretty good. Like, so we'll play this Sabbath one. The next one that we'll play out of this would be the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, then Mark of the Beast, then Leviathan, and then the Armageddon. So you can already see Horseman looks pretty intense, and then Armageddon is just gigantic. It's a massive map for Armageddon. So looking forward to getting into these. Like I said, this is the New Year's special, so we'll kind of like keep this going a little bit into. We'll get this going on both sides of New Year's. So we'll do a quick cutaway, and we'll zoom in on some pieces, and we'll jump right into round number 1. So let's get into it. Do a quick zoom over the minis. You can see the relic here. Angels, Archangel Raphael, Devourers, Penitents, Mounted Skeletons, and Skeleton Army. Yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so let's jump into turn 1 of the Apocalypse Sabbath scenario. And so basically the 4 players are on 2 sides. You've got the skeleton forces of the Sabbath witches and the witch. Skeleton forces player 1. They have got the they get the first round to play. Then player 2 would be the Inquisitor player, which is all the forces of the village surrounding. Player 3 is then the demons. The demons around here. And then finally, the angelic player, player 4, is the angel players. There's 2 angels inside this church along with the priests. So let's jump into it. Before we do, quick shout out to Pontos Fathom Press, our sponsor. Ending up the year here. Good time to jump into your reading for January. Why not Giuseppe Balsamo's Disclosure from the Necronomicon Fragment, Volumes 1, 2, and 3. Already out in stores everywhere. You can check out on Amazon and on our bookstore link below. Necromancy of Nyarlathotep, Hermeticism of Hastur. We are in the process of getting Alchemy of Azathoth proofread and published, looking for beginning of the year. So you can start with one of the other volumes. The books stand alone, but they do make a great set together, and they complement our Cat Journals Out of Lovecraft's Providence by August Moldenhauer. If you want to go check those out to support the channel, you can also support us on our Patreon. Check out the links below to our alt media. And as usual, liking, subscribing, leaving your comments below helps us to grow the channel. So looking forward to growing the channel and going on this gaming journey with you guys in 2023. So Happy New Year, everyone, and let's get into turn one. Let's start out with player one, the Witch, Sabbath Witch. So we're going to get out our cards. We're going to start our council phase. And the first different mechanism of this game, let's say that, I'll call out the mechanisms just to go. First off, we've got these wood tokens. Forces can come and chop down trees, and by doing so, they get wood. That wood can be used to burn the witches at the stake. This is mainly for the village player and the angelic player, I suppose. Next one up is the ability for the Sabbath witches to deploy these hexagonal pentagram sites. So when a witch can claim these sites, another goal. When one of the game, there's 4 options with these tokens, random tokens for areas. As we clear an area, we pick one of the random tokens. It can reveal the witch pentagram. It can also reveal a hidden cemetery, and it can also reveal the relic. And here's our image for the relic. Here's our miniature for the relic. So yeah, some stuff to look forward to on these game mechanisms. We also can use the wood that we collect to burn the witches at the stake, which is one of the victory conditions. So let's jump into the Sabbath Witch first. I will start the council phase. One thing that's different about the council phase here is, well, as we move to turn 1, we have a sun and moon indicator. So I'm just going to sort of shake this indicator in my hand and sort of just let it drop as it drops. And then it starts out on the sun. So sun is favorable to the forces of good. Moon is favorable to the forces of light. So turn 1 begins in daylight, and then we'll go into the night, and then we'll go daylight, night, and we'll go through that way for the turns. The other thing about the council phase is we'll get our war cards and our council cards, our round cards and our council cards determined. So we can turn this over, and we've got 4 activation tokens, and we get 1, 2, 3. So we can do those. So let's give everyone their activation tokens. Okay, so we're going to start out with the Sabbath Witch. Sabbath Witch app activation. We go into our orders phase. So let's have them. Sabbath Witch also gets the reroll token, and we do have this one as a reserve token here for the Inquisitor's play. Okay, so let's go with the Sabbath Witch. Their goal really is to get into this church. So let's have them start by, we'll have the witch just marching some forces against these skeleton armies. Will go fight against these peasants. Have them move into this space, and we'll have the skeleton army move into this space. So that's 2 activation tokens right there. And we'll do 2 more for this side. We'll have these move down here. And the skeletons as well, moving into this space here. We'll also have the Sabbath Witch move closer as well. Okay, So I believe the other feature of this game is when it's the day token side. All units from the holy side gain 1 yellow dice when defending against this round. So we gain 1 yellow dice in this defense. And only Army 2 can harvest the wood, so the angels cannot harvest wood either. So let's go ahead and execute on these orders. We'll start out with the skeletons against these... skeletons will fight against the... I'll show you guys the images here. These flagellants are... These guys are kind of cool. They remind me of sort of like the Resident Evil bad guy. So we've got an army of skeletons on the march. First off, the skeletons, they attack with a yellow dice, and our provincial militia will come into play here, and our peasants will come into play here, and our flagellants will come into play here. So where the skeletons attack the with the yellow die, we actually gain a yellow die because it's daylight, so these flagellants actually will have some defense. So they'll be, let's roll the skeletons yellow dice here. We get 1 route back, and then we can just roll our defense dice here also. So we get 3 on 3. And so one of our guys gets pushed back. Let's have him push back to here. But so far it's okay. We'll have the other 3 skeletons attack these provincial militia. They also will gain a die. So we get a wounded... let me just put these here so I can remember them. A wounded... a rout. A shield. Yeah, let's do it with the red dice. So I get a rout, a shield, and a wounded route here. So let's roll their defense die. And they get a block shield to block the wounded. They also get 3 more dice. They get another and a third. Okay, so they also have 1 more routed back. So let's route him back as well. So they get kind of retreating back. Let's go to the mounted skeletons. So we also have the mounted skeletons here. Mounted skeletons, when defending, cancel 1. So these guys will roll a pair of dice. They're going to go after the provincial militia, which are yellow. So let's just do... Well, they got a peasants here as well, so the peasants will gain a yellow die. And we will do 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's our attacks, and here's our defenses. So we see we've got a pair, a pair, a pair, and a pair. We get 2 defense, we get a defense, we get a defense, we get a defense. And then we also get to roll additional yellow dice because of the daylight effect. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this is, no, we get one of our peasants automatically gets slain. So that one peasant does get slain from that, gets pushed back. Okay, so that's going to be that for this army. Let's do the same thing with our skeletons here. They're fine, but we'll have these mounted skeletons go up against those figures. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll roll the additional dice because they get an extra yellow die for the daytime roll. So we'll get a pair of these up. Okay, so these are not helpful, but let's give them one extra set of rolls on this set. And unfortunately, we've got 1, 2, 3. So 1 is pushed back. I'll have one of these penitents pushed back. And then 2 of these are sent off here. Okay. So that's going to do it for those attacks. Let's go ahead now and yeah, so that will do it for player 1 here. So next up we can move to player 2. Player 2 will be the the forces from the village, and we'll jump into that.